people thought would lead to a dramatic increase in people at the border. The opposite is the case. And when it comes to children, over the last 30 days since the lifting of Title 42, the average encounters of unaccompanied children have dropped by more than 50%. That's good news. It's not sufficient, but it's good. Move in the right direction. The solution for this problem facing America and many other countries is not to export these children, but it's rather to find a process that is orderly, that reduces the number who appear at the border on an unaccompanied basis and reflects our values. So I think that's the ultimate goal we all should share, and I hope we can move toward that goal. I'm now going to introduce the
Mr. Chairman, may I just ask a question? Am I to understand that, and I appreciate it, that you've called this hearing, but that you expect to have other hearings where we'll have the government officials responsible for administering these programs as witnesses?
That's my intention, Senator Cornyn.
Thank you for doing that.
I think bringing these folks in to speak to us, followed by the documentary evidence which we're asking for from the administration, is the proper way to approach this. And I'd be glad to work with you in that regard. We'll continue to have annual oversight by this committee of the relevant agencies that are under our jurisdiction. But when it comes to ORR and HHS, that is ordinarily outside our jurisdiction, but I think under the rubric of immigration law, that we certainly can pursue that.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just, forgive me for responding, but I just, you know, it feels like we're trying to leverage the welfare of these unaccompanied children for a larger immigration bill that you and I have been talking about for decades and have been unsuccessful in getting accomplished. I just think it's unfair to these children to leverage their fate on some unrelated immigration legislation, just as I feel like it's unfair to the DACA recipients who are awaiting some congressional action while they've been languishing in court for the last 10 years. So that's what it feels like, is we're saying we can't do anything in this area until we deal with unrelated immigration issues. Am I misconstruing what you're saying?
Yes, you are. I haven't said that, and I don't intend that at all. We want to move on this problem because of the urgency involving vulnerable and unaccompanied children, period. Do I believe that the solution to this problem is comprehensive immigration reform? Yes. You know that it passed in the Senate years ago because of a bipartisan effort, and I hope we can return to that spirit. But no, I will not pin the fates of these children or DACA on some comprehensive package. I'm prepared to deal with any and all of them on an immediate basis if we have some understanding as to what can pass this committee and ultimately be successful on the floor of the Senate.
Well, you know, Mr. Chairman, you and I have been talking about this for, at my count, 20 years.
And
nothing has happened.
well, you've got to start voting for an immigration bill if you believe in them.
Well, congratulations. They got it through the Senate, but it didn't pass the House and wasn't signed into law. So what have we accomplished?
Well, I wish you would have supported it. It would have been helpful. It was a bipartisan effort, and it passed the United States Senate. I'm looking for a bill that will win at least 60 votes on the floor. I hope we have that same ambition and goal. At this point, I want to introduce the panel of witnesses. I'll welcome the Democratic witnesses and then turn to Senator Cornyn for the Republican witnesses. Our first witness is Venus Bradley. She has a personal story to tell us. She's fostered 5 unaccompanied non-citizen children and is adopting 2 sisters who came to the U.S. from Central America. Then we have Lori Davidson, serving as Vice President for Children and Family Services at Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Service. Our final majority witness is Terry Gersten, Director of the State and Local Law Enforcement Project at the Harvard Law School Center for Labor and a Just Economy, a Senior Fellow at the Economic Policy Institute. Senator Cornyn?
Lori Reese is the Director of the Border Security and Immigration Center at the Heritage Foundation. She has over 26 years' experience in the immigration and Homeland Security arena and has worked for the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, and the House Judiciary Committee, Subcommittee on Immigration and Claims. She received her JD as well as her BA from Valparaiso University in Indiana. Ann Basham is the founder and chair of the Interparliamentary Task Force on Human Trafficking and the CEO of Ascend Consulting, a human rights advocacy firm. She previously served as a senior advisor for the Department of Justice Office of Victims of Crime, where she helped develop strategies for more than $2 billion in federal funding to address human trafficking, terrorism, sexual assault, and child abuse. She earned her master's degree from the University of Virginia. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Cornyn. After the witnesses take the oath, they'll each have 5 minutes to speak and then 5 minutes questioning from each senator in the committee. I'd ask the witnesses to please rise. Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give before the committee